Okay, so now it is your turn to create a target persona. So we know, like I said, everyone is no one. And when you're thinking about a target persona, you want to think about demographics, obviously but it doesn't end there, right? You want to keep going. You want to think about location, where they're at in your community, where they're going, where they're coming from, and the psychographics. What do they hope for? What are their goals? What are they, struggling with right now? Things like that. So we're going to go through one of mine and then you're going to make one of yours. So Nina is one of my target personas. She's 38. She's single, so she's not married, no kids. She works in marketing and she's in Columbus. She's a career and family-driven professional. She aims to excel as much as she can in her career while she's single, but she also hopes to begin building her family soon. Nina seeks to make an impact in her community and career field. So here we have some of her goals, right? Like she wants to excel in her career. She really wants to maintain a healthy lifestyle. She wants to have a family and she wants to have a good work-life balance. So CASA can really fit in here because to do something beyond just her work, right? And a way to fill her life with something that's not just her job, but that is fulfilling in another way. She values trustworthiness, humor, adventure, and faith. She's really focused on her faith. Her sources of news and information are going to be like NPR through radio and Spotify, some international sources through Apple News. Her local news she might get through Facebook or cable, and then her podcast should probably listen to on Spotify as well. But for her, here's a quote, and this is from a real life Nina volunteer. She said, "Nothing is more satisfying than seeing a need and filling it, especially when it has to do with children. I have no doubt that with CASA, my talents are used to impact families in a way that would not be possible on my own. CASA provides a vehicle to direct and express my passion for children." So for her, like while she's in that point of her life where she doesn't have a family yet, that's another reason she loves CASA, right? She can have that engagement with children and develop in that way until she has her own family. And again, like I mentioned, it helps her with her work-life balance as well. Okay, so now it is your turn. So on your paper, go ahead and create a target persona. At first, you want to name them, give your target persona a name. Fill out some of these things here of their demographics, location, and psychographics. And here's some questions that help guide that. Ultimately, getting to why they would want to volunteer with CASA. So as you're thinking through this, I want you to start, if you're having trouble, start with somebody you know that would be a really good CASA that maybe isn't a CASA, right? And so thinking about like, okay, who is this person? Why do I think they would be a good fit? What are they doing with their life? What's their route? What's their weekly path to the community? What brings them joy, right? So now think about as we talked about those personas, right? Whatever persona you created, think about where you're going to reach them, right? So we talked through that a little bit, right? So with Tracy, you talked about the newspaper. Alex, we talked about going to the site, right? So thinking through how you're going to reach that person. So for Nina, I think LinkedIn is a really good fit for Nina of how to reach her. So that's for me, the main thing I will prioritize for Nina. So just think through really quick, take a second, jot it down, what you think the best platform is going to be to reach that persona. It doesn't have to be just one. You can write down more than one, but really pick one or two that you want to make your top priority. Okay, so next we're going to talk about the content, right? And we did this a little bit already with our messages, but we're going to go a little deeper into messaging for your persona. Okay, so if you've done a social media bootcamp, you've already done this, but we're going to do it again. It's really great practice. So you want to make sure you're considering your target persona when you're crafting your messaging, right? So here's an example of a blog title that I'm sharing to social media, right? And so the title is 5 Reasons to Become a CASA Volunteer. So my question is, who is that message resonating with? Who is the target audience for that message? Any thoughts?
From the picture, I would say a male.
From the picture, right? But for the message, really it's kind of general, isn't it?
Yeah, it's pretty general.
Yeah, so I would say it's just any potential volunteer, right? So very vague, very general. So we're going to refine this. This is an activity. So if you have your pen, write some ideas down. If you're going to refine this to reach somebody who is not only a potential volunteer, but a male, father, family-oriented, desires to leave a legacy, and fears insignificance. So this is taking this, something that's generic like this, that really is that, again, that back to the everyone, and making it that something that's going to resonate on an individual level with somebody, somebody that fits this criteria. So this is just an example of how you can take your messaging and really, really try to refine it. So when someone reads it, they think, oh, they're talking to me. They're talking to me. And so somebody that feels this way, when they would read that, they would feel like you're talking to them. And not to say that these types of blogs are not good. It's great to have blog. I have tons of blogs like this on our website, right? But to try and alternate or incorporate some things that are a little more first person, a little more personal, and really something that can really hook somebody in. Okay, so I want you to thinking, going back to your target persona that you developed with your activity, I want you to think of a blog idea that isn't vague like this one, but really specific like this one, that can really speak to a hope of your target persona, something that they hope for, and how that CASA mission and that CASA volunteer or donor or board member, whatever it is you're pushing for, how that can be that avenue to make that hope realized.
I said how to leave a legacy of hope in your hometown.
Oh, I like that. In your hometown. I love that word in the title. I feel
My
like that,
my target persona was a business owner who's very connected in the community, and so
oh, great. Yeah, that's perfect. Thank you for sharing. Alex, I saw you came off mute.
I said a purposeful retirement, how becoming a CASA volunteer can change a child's story.
Oh, I love that. I love the purposeful retirement. That's great. I think for someone like Sherry that you shared, I think that's a really good fit for someone like her. It's great. So I just want to leave this reminder here that branding and messaging can help bring people in, but it is engagement that gets them to stay. So what I mean by that is when somebody does comment or does respond or does email your organization or respond to the ad, right? Like being responsive, engaging with them, commenting back, emailing back, whatever it looks like in that avenue, really making sure that they feel seen and heard, and that when they do reach out, you're reaching back. Okay. So what I want you to do, we don't have to do groups since it's a smaller group today. We can just share with each other. So I would like us to just talk through some of these following questions here. Or just we can write these down and take them back to your team, right? And questions that you want to work through internally with your organization. But answer like, what are your top 3 personas as an organization? Like not just the one you developed today, but developing out a few more and say, who are we really trying to reach right now? And what is our goal for each of them? Right? So for one, you might be saying, this is somebody I want to reach for a donor. And for another, this might be somebody I want to reach for as a volunteer. And then thinking about, again, everything we did today, right? What platform fits that persona best? How would they connect with us beyond the platform, right? So what I was just saying about engagement. So if you are going to do, whether it be a sign at the football field or the soccer field, how are they going to connect with you? Is there a QR code that they can like go to your website, and then when they're there, what then? Is there like a form they're going to fill out so you can have their email, right, or their phone number? So just thinking that next step through of that engagement, that connectivity piece, you want to make sure that that's easy for that person to do. So if you're posting on Instagram, do you have a link in your bio, right, that they can click on, and where does that take them? And what is the call to action for them? And how many, like if it just takes them to your website, do they have to keep clicking and keep looking to find some kind of interest form or find where they can email you, right? You want it to be really quick and seamless. You want there to be as few steps as possible between them feeling inspired and actually coming into the contact, the avenue with the person on your team, right? That's going to be responding and connecting with them. Another thing I want you to think through is some content you already have that you can reuse, right? So maybe you have a blog that's like 5 reasons to become a CASA volunteer. How can you rework that in a way that can fit your target persona? how can you take something you already have and tweak it and refine it in a way that can be a little more connected with the person you're reaching? And then the last thing I want you to think through for your team is how and when will we check in, right? So keeping that accountability in place, keeping those systems in place so that when you have these goals of reaching, what was it, 15 people for your training coming up in the fall, you want to have a system. Okay, we're going to check in every month at our team meeting and talk about where we're at, or whatever it might be, that you can do to keep yourself on track and accountable. Okay, so I'll leave this up here for just a minute if y'all want to jot down some of those to do your homework after today. And if there's anything, any thoughts anyone has or anything they want to share about this, this is a great time. Floor is open. All right, and then lastly, I just have a question, open the floor for any questions at all.
So I just want to share out whoever suggests. I like the word hometown stood out to me as we're trying to target some local small business owners. I guess my persona was a woman in her mid-50s who really cares about her community. Maybe she plays pickleball, but her community and being involved in that is really important to her. So I like the hometown helping in your community verbiage. So that was helpful. Whoever shared that out.
Yeah, I loved that. I agree. That was great. How are we feeling? Do we feel empowered to target our messaging to our community?
I do. This was a helpful refresher. Thank you, Rachelle.
Yeah. Thanks for coming, Alex. All right, everybody. I know it's kind of early. We still got about 15 minutes, but if y'all don't have any questions or anything else, I'll stay on for a minute, but thank you all for coming, and I will stop recording. And yeah, I hope y'all have a great week.